Good morning. We're going to get ready to start the legal committee. It is 9 o'clock in the morning. Not the legal committee. Oh, mercy. April Fools. Yeah, that's it. So happy Washington, D.C. Day to everyone today. And anyway, it's the Finance Committee meeting. We're starting at 9 o'clock a.m. If you would please allow the minutes to reflect that Councilor Roebuck and myself are here present. If I could just get a confirmation from Councilor Kennard that she is on the GoToMeeting.
I am present.
Thank you so much, Councilor Kennard, I know you've got a very busy day, but I know this work is important to you as well, and we appreciate you doing that for us today. Also allow the minutes to reflect. Is Councilor Orpesa on a GoToMeeting? Okay, so let the minutes reflect that Councilor Orpesa is absent today. If I could get a motion to approve the agenda.
Mr. Chair, I move to approve the agenda and the minutes from the March 4th meeting.
Second.
We have a motion, we have a second. Any other discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Okay, let's go on to number one. The approval of the agenda. Now the approval of the minutes that are in here we've already approved the minutes, with the agenda. And then the non-action items as we move forward. Let's move forward with that if we can. Mr. Fuentes.
Mr. Chair, committee members, Janie Davis will be presenting the Finance Committee reports.
She gets the hot seat today.
Yeah.
Good to see you. I hope that you're adjusting well and enjoying your time with us.
Yes, I am. Busy. Good morning, Councilor Perry and committee. What? On this, we're showing that gross receipts for March of 2021, actual collected was 2.8 million. Budgeted was 2.65, so we have a surplus of 160,000 for the month of March. On the next slide, March of 2021 is 2.8 million. March of 2019 is 2.7, so we're over about 4.4%. March of 2020, or March of 2021. March of 2020 is 2.8, so we remain fairly consistent with the gross receipts tax. Year-to-date shows that we're over the FY19 by 2.7%, but under FY20 by 13.9. Any questions on the gross receipts tax?
No, I'll just say that as we start preparing for the next fiscal budget, this is going to be very helpful. I know that it excites us to see what we had in July, August, September and all, but we're starting to see that radical move up and down that we're just not certain of. So
Right.
We'll move forward as we move for the next budget. Yes, ma'am. Go ahead.
Other information that I don't have on a slide, I was going to tell you all that yesterday I received notification from the State Auditor's Office that our FY20 audit was accepted. I sent the five-day letter waiver, so that should be posted sometime today. We also have the Convention Center, the Spectra portion audit is final too. I am working on reconciling accounts in the system in Tyler by fund and posting the audit entries from the audit of 2020. Fixed assets are now loaded. Last year when budget was done and when the year end was done, assets stayed in the old system, but we've rolled those forward into Tyler. So this will be our first year-end close with Tyler where we see depreciation and everything. And hopefully it will go well. We'll see. Beginning in July, I'm going to start presenting more financial information to you all. And I'd like to have a discussion on exactly what it is you all would like to see each month. And I'll stand for any questions.
Any questions? Yeah, Counselor Kennard, you're on the phone. Do you have any questions?
I don't, thank you.
Okay, I'm going to recognize Mayor Kintai. He's asked to speak.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. One of the things that I've discussed with the city manager, and I think would be very helpful for us, is we see the revenues versus the budget, and we see that every month. But I'd like to see actual expenditures for as we go along. And I understand we're waiting for some final blocks of Tyler to be completed before we can do that. But I think we need to be able to see not just actual revenue, but actual expenses, so that when we're comparing revenue, it's not to budget, it's to expenses. Not saying that it's not helpful to have the budget out there, but I think we need to have both.
Okay,
That's my 2 cents.
absolutely. And I think that should be,
Oh, and that's what I would like to present is, at a higher level, the revenue and the expenses. Just because revenue doesn't necessarily go up, but either would expenses, so you're still doing good.
yes, sir.
Can we go back to the previous slide? Yeah, one of the things we see this down 14% from FY20, but the reality is FY20 had 3 anomalous months. September, November, and December were way out of whack for revenues, and we all know that there's times that the state does stuff in her mysterious ways. So I am less concerned about that. And I'm pleased, like you, Mr. Chairman, on the success we've had in holding our revenues.
Fantastic. Welcome, Counselor Stubbs, as well. Did you have anything you'd like to add? All right, thank you. Fantastic. Anything else?
Not that I have.
It wasn't that painful, was it? All right. Thank you so much.
Ask me in July.
All right. All right, Mr. Fuentes.
Committee members, so we have, that was as the final piece for finance. We do have our Lodgers Tax and Convention Center report by Stephanie Mervine.
Okay.
Chair, committee members, good morning. Here to present the Lodgers Tax Report for February, which are the actuals for January. And we are currently for occupancy at 39.9%. That compared to last year, which was pre-COVID, is about 30% off in occupancy. We're slowly getting there. I think it'll take a few months, but we're all really positive that the hotels will get there. Plus, we've added 312 room nights to the market, so that should help in the 30 nights collection, you know what I'm saying. And then as far as revenue, we collected $68,273. Questions? And then for the convention center, again, 39.9% occupancy, and we collected $42,169. And I'll stand for any questions.
Any questions or comments from committee members? Mr. Mayor?
I understand, and this might be a better question for Mr. Nebb, that some of the relief monies we're getting would possibly be revenue replacement for this, and we don't really know yet, do we, or?
No, with regards to the American Rescue Plan money, a lot of those funds are devoted to these industries that have been negatively impacted by the COVID responses and regulations. And so tourism is one of the big ones. We don't know right now as far as what those rules are as to how those funds can be utilized, other than we cannot lower taxes in order to, it can't be used as replacement funds in order to lower taxes and everything. So it is really meant to give a boost in the arm to these industries, including tourism. So we have had some preliminary conversations internally to try to figure out the funds that we anticipate we're going to receive from that, how we can help that industry within the hotels and within the tourism to try to bring it back as appropriately as possible.
Okay, thank you.
I did want to make one statement if possible. Through this time, we have worked hard with the Roswell Hospitality Hotel Association to get the hotels to work together. And for the first time, we had a great GoToMeeting phone call with all the hotels to talk about UFO and just kind of ramping up post-COVID. So that was a real success, I think, with our new president of the association, Paige Smith. So that is a nice positive. And with that, I will make my next introduction. So
All
it
right.
is, go ahead.
Yes, Counselor Stubbs.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Stephanie, on the report that you just showed, the number of rooms available that were reported are still their total rooms. Those were not the rooms that were available under the red, yellow, green stuff, right?
They are the available rooms in the market to sell each month. There are some hotels or B&Bs that have shut down, so that is going to skew it year-over-year comparison. So not all the rooms in a perfect world are available right now.
But your report shows the total,
Correct.
whether they were limited to only 25% or not.
Correct, yes.
So I'm kind of curious, and maybe this isn't appropriate, but if a property is limited to only 25% and you show us the total, I'd like to know what their 25% was to see where they are in the industry, I guess.
Okay, I understand what you're saying.
Does that make sense?
We could probably switch that around. We would have to shrink the house, which is the hotel, and then redo it based on the 25, 50, 75% to do that. So you could do a separate report, but basically you're talking about lowering the total numbers to match what we were allowed to do at that time.
Yes.
And that would be a good analogy. I would be more than happy to do that.
If that's not a real problem, just because
all.
I think it would more clearly show where the industry has been or is.
And that's a good question, because on the STAR report, if normally we were at a 60% occupancy at
Right.
certain months, and we were allowed to be at 75%, we were probably never going to make that number, versus a July that you would be at 80%, so that would be good to show. So I could
I think
definitely
it
do
would,
that.
it would show us better, at least would show me better, what the occupancy actually has been out there, so.
And I've been keeping track of that from the STAR report, too. So, thank you for that.
Thank you, thank you,
welcome.
Mr. Chair.
Great idea. Yes, absolutely. I think that would be very beneficial to us.
Perfect.
Counselor Roebuck.
Yeah, I think I mean, there's no problem getting more information, but I do think that it's important to note the real capacity versus the limitation, because from a business owner's perspective,
Right.
they still have to pay for maintaining all those rooms, whether they can book them or not.
Exactly.
And so we're really talking about the health of the industry. The health of the industry is based on what their I'll call it their real capacity
Sure.
is, versus whatever the limiting factor on the outside is, whether it's a government mandate or it's bad weather or whatever. Just if there's a lot of things that might potentially limit their ability to fill their rooms, but nonetheless, the rooms exist, and there is a maintenance cost, there's a mortgage cost, there's all kinds of costs associated with those rooms, and so I think it's important that we don't like give ourselves a nice pat on the back, because and also important as a city that we understand that we look at these numbers in the way that the businesses see them.
True.
Because the businesses aren't like, well, we only had 25% capacity, so we got close to our capacity, because they are still paying for that other 75%, whether they have got customers, whether they have the ability to book those rooms or not. And so I just, while I don't have any problem with getting more information on it and looking at the numbers,
Keep it in perspective.
I do think it's important that we don't take any sort of looking at the numbers differently and be able to say, well, the situation looks better than it really is, because those are real expenses, and those businesses are working hard to, and to the earlier thing, the presentation earlier, since I've got the floor now, to the presentation earlier, as far as our GRT, I don't think that we can underestimate, or we should definitely appreciate the reason why GRT has, one of the reasons why we've been able to maintain GRT is because our businesses have been working very hard through this event to keep business going, keep business open. A couple have fallen away, and a couple have had to close down, unfortunately. But by and large, businesses have worked extremely hard. And of course, they do it for their own profit. They do it for their employees, but they also do it for our community.
Sure.
They keep their doors open for our community, and I think there is I think that they're one of the, I hate to use the word heroes because I think it's overused, but certainly
They are definitely heroes.
working hard to make sure that this community stays running. So I
Thank you.
yield. Thank you.
I would also mention that some of the hotels that were limited to capacity at certain times when it was at its worst did use that as a positive to do some renovations or to do some things that if they couldn't be completely 100% open, that was an opportunity, and some did take advantage of that, which was good.
Absolutely.
We'll see the
All right, if there's nothing else, let's move on forward into the UFO Festival update.
Well, it is my pleasure to introduce Matt Spencer with In Depth for our UFO Festival presentation, and Mr. Robert Chapman, the co-founders. And with that, I'll leave the floor to them.
Morning.
Good morning.
How are you guys today? Great. My name is Robert Chapman. I'm with In-Depth Events. I'm one of the two co-founders, and as you guys know, we have been contracted by the City of Roswell to handle the event management for the UFO Festival this year. First slide here. So my job today here is to update everyone on our status. Today is April 1st, and we've reached some contract deliverables that I want to let everybody know about. We've handled the website launch. It went live this morning. We've completed some goals that we want to discuss. I'd like to share with you some of the anchor events that we have curated for the UFO Festival, and I'd like to talk about our next steps. The website launch is a big deal. We went live just this morning. Actually, we did a soft live last night. We've had a countdown splash screen on the website for about the last month or so. And in that time, we've received 691 form entries, which means people have gone to the site and they've filled out information on the website that they're either interested in buying a ticket, they're interested in volunteering, they're interested in sponsorships, or they're interested in becoming a vendor. Out of those 691 entries, we saw lots and lots and lots of interested folks just with a splash screen and a countdown timer. We actually ended up with 2,377 people that viewed the form. Out of those, 691 people entered information and hit the submit button. That means we had a response rate of 29%, which is unheard of when you're looking at internet technology and internet forms. Usually the response rate is closer to 10%, and we're right at the 30% mark. Post-launch, like I said, we went live last night at about 8 p.m. We've had 86 unique views from 23 states and 7 countries. So that is a little bit low as far as what we want to see as total traffic, but we are moving forward with several social media campaigns, several press campaigns to get us to the point where we want to be on traffic. And as everyone knows, internet traffic is on an exponential scale. So start a little on the slow side, but we will ramp up and see several 100,000 folks visiting our site. Vendor signups. One of the great things about our site is that we have been able to go ahead and curate people that are interested in looking at becoming a vendor at the UFO Festival and at the events that we've curated this year. We've had 227 interested vendors so far, and we are still curating folks very actively right now. Sponsorships. We've been looking at 4 very strong sponsors that we know are going to come on board, and of course we're offering the sponsor deck, which was part of our deliverables today, and we're starting to push that out to interested sponsors as well. Can we go back to the deliverable slide? Thank you. We've also launched the ticket purchase for premium events. We've listed all the event activities and events that we've curated so far, and we have got a newsletter and an email sign up that, again, is getting just a huge amount of traffic, and we've got a lot of interested folks that are wanting more information about what the UFO Festival is going to be this year. Okay? We had several deliverables that we were due today on April 1st. Obviously, we've made the initial visit to Roswell in January. We've launched the website this morning. We've gotten our sponsor deck out to our sponsors. We've connected with several local businesses. We have connected with other events that are going on and other venues around the city of Roswell. We've got our event registration active, and we've got our anchor events planned. One of the things that we really wanted to make sure of is that as we were curating events, we wanted to make sure that other events that were happening within the city of Roswell during UFO Festival were listed as well, right? We want to make sure that as our attendees are coming from other states, from other countries, that they have a complete list of things that they can come and see and do in Roswell, okay? I'd like to talk about our anchor events that we've curated. The first one is the Intergalactic Cinema Experience. We're going to be setting up a movie review at Cielo Grande that we're very excited about. We'll be showing 3 different movies on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday night. And we're calling it an experience because we're bringing additional lighting, additional special effects, and additional sound so that when the spaceship door opens during the movie, we'll be able to push fog out into the audience as well as seeing it on the screen. When the spaceship flies overhead, we'll be able to add moving lighting, so it becomes a very immersive experience to people that are going to be in the audience. This is a ticketed event, and again, it's going to be 3 nights at Cielo Grande. Thursday night, we're playing Close Encounters of the Third Kind, and then Friday and Saturday are similar blockbusters, right? We're doing the Interstellar EDM Pool Party. EDM stands for Electronic Dance Music, and this event is really exciting. We're taking the parks, recreation and aquatic center, and we're turning it into a dance party for 16 to 20-year-olds. We're looking to hit that demographic. We're bringing in lighting, we're bringing in audio, we're bringing in special effects, and we're going to turn the pool into a dance party for folks that are coming to Roswell. Our third deliverable and our anchor event is the main concert. We're going to be doing that Saturday night. Our deliverables state that we get the information to you guys on that on May 1st, so I don't want to spoil any surprises. But we are very excited about the main concert, the talent that we're talking to, and the amount of folks that we expect to have in attendance for that show. Our next steps. We were able to meet with the set team yesterday to begin the traffic plans and the drafts of what the parade route's going to look like, some of the street closures, some of the needs that we'll have for police, fire, and EMT. We'll be implementing those plans as we move forward. We're selecting and announcing our nonprofit recipients. We've got a few events that we've curated that are going to be specifically designated where we will take a portion of the proceeds and give them to Roswell area nonprofits. Right? We'll be announcing the headlining talent on May 1st, as I mentioned. We're finalizing development of sponsor-driven events. So as we are continuing to build events, as we're continuing to curate this event, we will see some additional sponsor come on and see what we're going to do with those. We're looking at additional pop-up events. We are working with the press to generate national interest, and of course, we'll have a post-event review after the event is completed with the council to make sure that any issues that have come up will be addressed and handled professionally by the 2022 event. That is about all I have, ladies and gentlemen. Can I open this up for any questions?
Any questions from committee members? Councilor
I just
Kennedy?
wanted to say I'm really excited. This sounds like it's going to be a great time.
Thank you very much. We're very excited about bringing this to Roswell.
So a couple of quick things. I see our city manager is standing. Do you have something you wanted to add?
Well, I'll add that.
No, go ahead. It's fine. Okay. Which may be part of my questions, so go ahead.
Well, I felt it would be best. We have a lot of fantastic information coming forward for the UFO Festival. We do have some challenges out there that we still have to overcome, and I'm going to share a little bit about that. I will lean on Juanita Jennings if we need to get into any more detail on that. But right now, we're struggling with getting a concise voice out in the social media world due to the Main Street's efforts to do Alien Fest on top of the UFO Festival. So it is confusing the issue a little bit, and we're struggling with keeping a concise direction for the UFO Festival. We are working with Main Street in order to get that corrected, but when we're operating down two different paths, we need to kind of pull them together. We've had some really good conversations with Main Street, the executive director for that, but I want to make sure I share that because, again, one of the nice things that happened out of this as well too is that we have support coming from the state of New Mexico as well. And the problem is that when you look at our blast out to the public, what's happening right now is we're getting some confusion out there. There's some cross-pollination that's not working in our favor with the UFO Festival happening at the same time of what the downtown is trying to reinvent the Alien Fest. And so the challenge we have with those things is trying to combine the voice so that it is one UFO festival and then all of the sectors within the city are operating underneath that guidance. So just want to share some of that cautionary stuff that we're walking through, but I know that with the state tourism department, this is confusing to them as well too. And so I guess I'm the bearer of the challenges that we're still facing.
What can we expect, what are we expecting right now as far as the state is concerned
As the
with them?
state's input, I believe there's some co-op dollars.
Chairman and members of the committee. We had applied for some grant funding for what's called the Strategic Event Recovery Readiness Initiative. It's a mouthful, but it's called SERI. And out of over 100 applicants throughout the state of special events, Roswell's UFO Festival was one of 13. We have a strategic timeline to how do we recover for the tourism industry. And I've had several phone calls with them, and they feel, as we do, that there is some confusion when you are having a UFO festival and also having a first annual Alien Fest. And so right now we're talking with the state, and we're going to kind of take a pause. They're going to reevaluate what can be done so that there is a clear and concise message. The things that they bring to the table are funding, of course, for national media coverage, earned media coverage. They have a lot of people and team of people to help increase the experience for the festival. They've contracted with a company called Leo Events that would work in collaboration with In Depth. We also would have those co-op marketing dollars for any additional advertisement. And so that's kind of where we're at. We've been having some conversations, like Mr. Nebb has said, and I do have a presentation that I wanted to share with you guys, and I can share it with you. One of the things that we need to look at is the media placement with this discussions. I don't know if we will get to place it in all of the places that we had originally proposed due to the current funding level of where lodger's tax is at. So,
another question that comes up is, people have asked, as the city is doing funding towards this, what do we see as how the city will be making its return on the investment here? What do we see that looking like?
would you like me to answer that, or would you like?
Whoever would like to take a jump in.
I'm happy to answer that from the city's point of view. I think bringing on in-depth, we're getting professional experience executing special events. This is what they do for a living. We are getting a lot more hands-on experience for immersive experience for our visitors. I believe that one of the things that will be different this time is the city will be getting a check back of funding for ticket sales, having a ticketed event. Additionally, I think the exposure that we will receive having an immersive experience will generate new visitations to the city beyond just during the festival. The stuff that they put together, I don't think they talked about like the golf tournament, and it's more of a citywide, it's showcasing all of our assets, but at the end, it's the funding that's back. It's that return on our investment of the $36,000 that we'll see a benefit from, not only for local nonprofits within Roswell, but also for the city of Roswell.
Okay. Do you have anything that you'd like to add to that? Maybe from some experience of what y'all have seen in the past?
I'd like to add that, our contract is that we are in a rev share with the main event with the city of Roswell. We've looked at the economic impact numbers that we had in 2018 and 2019, and we think that we're going to be able to improve on those because we are bringing people in as a destination festival from a national level. We've gone past local and regional, and we're going to be seeing people from all over the United States joining us here in Roswell for the UFO Festival. I think the economic impact, very first conversation I had with Stephanie Mervine was heads in beds, right? That's what they want, that's what we need to do, is to put people in the hotel rooms. We need to see sellouts. We need to see a significant amount of folks paying that lodger's tax, right? And that's what our directive is, and that's what we plan to do.
Okay. Councilor Roebuck.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. First of all, now that you guys brought up some issues, I'll comment on them, but I am excited to have you guys here. And I think that we're getting a good value for the contract, and your work, it looks good. As somebody who works in a very similar field, I appreciate having an outside voice coming in and looking at this and diving in with our community. And I appreciate all the work that you've done to reach out to the community members, and to have them involved in your process. Something that I'm not quite grasping, and I don't necessarily need an explanation on, but the speaking with one voice thing is in some ways, it's kind of a now problem, but ultimately the success or whatever level of success, we'll just say it's going to be at some level of success with the UFO Festival this year. I'm fairly confident, but how good of a success it's going to be is not going to be so much about how well we messaged outside of the community. It's going to be how well we brought the wow factor. Because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter if there's an alien fest and a UFO festival. If people come here and they leave and they say, "Wow, that was amazing," that's what it's all about. I think Roswell's been in the unfortunate place for a long time of we've had this $1 billion brand, and we don't really have anything to offer to go along with the brand. And now that's what we're trying to help. I say we haven't, that's not true. We do have some things. We have the UFO Museum, which is a well-run organization downtown. We have a couple of things, but nothing to the level of the brand. And so this is a step in that right direction. But ultimately, the confusion on the messaging, UFO Fest, that's going to matter to the people who understand marketing and stuff like that. For your average consumer, there might be a little bit of confusion, but if they get here, they're going to get here. So, and again, I think really the bulk of our energy needs to be focused on how can we make the things that we're offering, the things that the city is providing for this weekend for our tourists, how are we making the things that we're doing as wow as possible and bringing that wow. And I appreciate you guys' attention to that wow factor. And so I think that if messaging aside, I don't know if the state is concerned about it. If they're giving us like, hey, we don't want to fund you guys because you guys don't have the messaging issue worked out, that sounds like that's more of a political issue that the politicians, we need to deal with that. We need to get on top of that at this point. But otherwise, I think, well, number one, I think, if we can get state funding, great, but we should never count on it. We need to be self-reliant as a community, as much as possible with the UFO festival, and I think that's the first thing. As much as we have to be careful if the state hangs out these carrots, but you have to jump through these 8,000 hoops to get them or whatever. And if they don't see it, they don't get it. We can't control that. So we also we want to be careful that we don't. That we're not perceived, I think is probably the better way. We're not perceived as dumping the interests of local business in just for state dollars. I can't imagine anybody on our staff would actually feel that way, but certainly we have to be careful of that perception. Is that okay? Who ultimately we serve the locals. That's our constituency, and so their voice is the we need to hear that voice first. I don't know if that's making sense. I guess some of this information is new to me, so I'm just processing right now because I haven't heard it outside this meeting.
Yeah, that does help, and I know we'll have further conversation on that. Note that it is not really, our concerns are not based upon it being dollars from the state.
Okay.
It is really the recognition of a worldwide, or if you really want to say it, a universal level event.
Yes.
Starting here in Roswell. And I think that's the thing that we really recognize, because the state has never recognized this event because of the way we have operated it. It's been more of a regional, more of a smaller area. Even though we get people from all over the world coming in here, we believe, and that's what In-Depth is helping us with, is to put that attraction out there. Like you said, the billion-dollar brand of Roswell is part of this as well, too. It is not so much as the dollars. The dollars we can make up different ways. It is really the recognition of what this event is that's important. And so we'll continue to talk about those things as we try to figure out that message. There are some challenges within that. I appreciate your background on it, so we'll get together and we'll talk a little bit more on that.
I think, though, ultimately, Joe, to that effect, the way that you get recognized as a world-class event is you host a world-class event. You don't say that you're hosting a world-class event, you actually do it, and then that will. And I think that's the whole process of, and that is the whole process that the city has been undertaking, and I appreciate the city becoming more involved and taking the lead with a lot of this. I think that it's going to be helpful. But ultimately, at the end of the day, the messaging doesn't matter nearly as enough as the product. The product will sell itself.
Yeah, and I just wanted to make sure that point was there. It's not really about the dollars as much as it is about the developing that whole experience, is what you've expressed over and over. So
I yield.
All right, Councilor Kenner, did you have anything to add?
No, sir. Thank you.
Mr. Mayor?
We've had some discussion about operating a trolley service during this or in the summer. Any more details on that or that concept?
Yeah, our trolley service has taken a little bit of a delay in getting there. For everybody's sake, for anybody that is knowing, we are actually taking at least one of the buses that is being removed out of transit, and we'll be converting it into a trolley-type system. And the whole problem is we can't use the current buses that we have for the trolley because of the federal funding that's with that. So when we retire them, we can repurpose them into these other purposes. So I think our goal has always been to have one or two trolleys out there in order to get there. We may try to bring in, because we've offered that, assistance in getting from one location to the other. We've offered doing that free on our transit system as well too, just because it's people moving. So we will try to continue to do that with the buses. The buses do go out to Cielo Grande. The buses they go all over town. So we may try to work within that system of what we currently have out there. But we really are looking forward to the repurposing of the buses when we can finally get them released. And I think 2020 slowed that down a little bit, just the way the federal funding was coming in for our replacements.
Counselor Stubbs, I saw you had a question as well, or a comment.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I love hearing all of this. That's my comment. But my question is, the vendors, is there a process of vetting vendors and numbers and kinds and that sort of thing? How does that work, please?
Actually, that's on our side of the world. Part of our contract is to make sure that we do have appropriate vendors, appropriate sponsors. Of course, we are working very closely with Juanita and her team to make sure that we are presenting ourselves in the most professional and positive way. So any vendors or sponsors that might be a little on the edge, we're saying thank you. Maybe we'll have an opportunity for you in the future, but we don't have for it right now. We have set vendor pricing. We do know where our vendors and food trucks are going to be for the events. And we're doing our best to also maintain a level of exclusivity. It does me no good to have 3 vendors in one place selling hot dogs, right? So as we are curating our vendors, as we're making sure that everybody has a good experience with the festival, not only the attendees, but also our sponsors and our vendors, we're making sure that we make those decisions to maintain exclusivity, maintain a positive level for attendees, and keep everybody safe and moving along.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
Anything else? Yes, Juanita, yes, please.
I'm going to show you the campaign if you guys would like to see it, or we can skip through it if you'd like.
No, that's fine.
Okay. I might need your help showing the video. So if you'll click on this, this is something that internally we worked on. This is our trailer from We Believe Studios, which is in-house through the Public Affairs Department. I'm very proud of Johnny, Hector, Lujan, and our actress, Rochelle Diaz. She's our graphic designer in presenting Aileen. Our campaign will tie to this 4-part series. It's kind of like a short film that they said, I would like to do this because everybody's been at home in quarantine. They're ready to get out. As they go through this experience, Aileen is stuck at work looking at a tabloid. She sees aliens. She doesn't know. Has she been abducted? So that'll be more to come with these videos that will be released through our social media channel and then on the website ufofestival.com. So as we were coming together and talking about what does this campaign look like, we thought we would play on the quarantine, would play on the political press and the politics of national media coverage due to COVID. And so with that, we'll show you some of our outdoor campaign. Our UFO Festival logo was approved for trademark, which we're very excited to have, but we're creating an intergalactic news. They're coming, are you, July 4th, Roswell, New Mexico. These will be placed in West Texas, Panhandle, Lubbock, Midland, Odessa. You will see it as you're coming off of, I think it's called McCarthy Road on Lubbock, but I'll be able to present what it is to you as soon as we place them. Come in peace is another tagline that we came up with. Alien invasion, of course, and they're back, meaning they're back could be the aliens, but also the festival is back. Our digital banner ads that will also be placed, visitors arriving, they're back, they're coming, come in peace. These will be click-throughs. As you click on the last one, it's really fast, 10 seconds, it'll go to the website. Our posters, print ads, and ad-like objectives will have the same thing, intergalactic news, Planet Zeta Beta enacts strict quarantine on all Earth visitors, uncover the truth at the UFO Festival. This is one of, I think we have 5. Researchers solve mysteries of 2020 toilet paper shortage, uncover the truth at the UFO Festival. Again, a play on our COVID. Scientists discover alternate Earth where 2020 was best year ever. Someone somewhere had to have a good year. We're saying that maybe the aliens did because we didn't. Gluten kills alien intruder. There's so much gluten free, all kinds of different things, so we thought that would be really fun. I found him like that. He must have had an allergy or something. Uncover the truth at the UFO Festival. Suspected alien in jail after rumored UFO crash. Again, just another play on our crash and the tabloids. And then this one was our favorite one that we thought we would put, Mayor abducted by aliens replaced with replicant, UFOfestival.com. Something fun. This one will probably be more local in-state because the people may not know that this is Mayor Kintai. And we just thought it
So
was
the way to make any of this actually happen.
In your dreams.
And then we will have 2 digital radio spots running on Spotify. You can't really see them here, but again, it's old 1940s news reporter beat with the news. You can't really see them there, but it goes same thing to the tabloids. And then, of course, this is what the integration into social media will look like with the campaign. And I will stand for any questions.
Well, I'll just say to start with, we're not even there yet, and we're already seeing the wow factor. And your team's worked very hard on this, both all of y'all. This is really exciting to see. I really appreciate it, Councilor Roebuck.
Thank you. Those billboards were designed in-house?
No, that's through our agency.
Oh, that's your agency, okay.
Yep.
They look fantastic.
Thank you.
I think that those are spot on. I mean, just from a marketing standpoint, those are exactly what you need.
Thank
So,
you.
I think they look great.
Councilor Kenner, did you have anything? Have we
Thank
still-
you. I don't.
Okay, all right. Mr. Mayor or Councilor Stubbs? All right.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Much appreciated. All right, thank you so much. That'll be great. All right, let's move on into the next portion here, considering the approval of the resolution to amend the fiscal year ending in June 30. Good morning.
Hi, good
Now
morning,
well,
Mr.
we're
Chair
getting
Committee.
2 new ones in the hot seat today.
Yes, sir. Before you have the budget adjustment resolution, where, I'm sorry. Oh, I apologize. Yes, okay. Okay, where in the general fund, we have expenses for $400,421. For pond project, $180,000 and $180,53. To cover personnel and contractual service costs, $220,368. In the library grants fund, total revenues, $7,529, where we received additional money for that same amount, $7,529. In the restricted donation fund, expenses $25,700 for the purchase of zoo fencing for $22,000, and for canine costs, $3,700. I also wanted to add that in May, we will have a more comprehensive budget adjustment ready for you guys. Any questions?
Any questions from committee members? Counselor Stubbs, did you have anything? Any questions? Okay. I don't think so. That covers
Great.
it very well.
Okay,
All right.
thank you.
I will entertain a motion.
Mr. Chair, and I think that because of some of these budget adjustments are not in and out, that we'll go ahead and not send this to consent, but send it to.
I would prefer, thank you.
Let's do that, if you believe that that's good. So if, in that case, I move that we recommend for approval Resolution 20XX budget adjustments for FY21 budget to the full council.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Do we have any other discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion passes. All right, and last but not least, before we go to public participation, the surplus property.
Here again, for more stuff. This is just our next request we're working down our list of things that we need to get rid of. You're going to see in the next couple of months some things on there that are coming out of the warehouse that are not used anymore. So you won't see the VIN numbers and all that stuff. It'll just be assets that are listed under water maintenance, like all these meters. They're meters that were used in the prior system. They're not used anymore, but they still have value. And I'm pretty sure that we can sell them for a lot closer to what we paid for them.
Do we have any questions, any comments from committee members? Counselor Stubbs, did you have any questions? All right. Clear cut. I will entertain a motion.
Mr. Chair, let's try this one. I move that we recommend to full council Resolution 20XX sale of certain surplus personal property to the consent agenda.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to send the resolution for the sale of certain surplus personnel property to the consent agenda, the next full city council meeting for next Thursday. Any other discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All
Aye.
opposed by the same sign. Motion passes. Thank you. All right, public participation. Do we have anyone who has signed up for public participation? Anyone? Do I see any hands raised? Anyone? I'm kidding. Miss Rita, come on up. All right, you have 3 minutes. Thank you.
Okay, listen quick. Thank you so much, Mr. Chairman. It is my understanding that code enforcement is going to move to the old building where Fur's Cafeteria was located. Did we purchase that or are we renting it? Number two, my understanding that the painting of the visitor center was put on contract. I thought we had painters here. Number three, I read the article in today's paper. I thought it was very good, and at 4 o'clock in the morning, I went onto the site. And I did not sign up for anything, because I know I can get it anyway. But I did see that, Councilor Roebuck, there was no charge. There was no event fee to get into your space, whatever it is. I looked very carefully, so that means that we get in free, I'm sure. And number four, I need to know if the city is going to help the Main Street Roswell by clearing out Pioneer Plaza on July 2nd, 3rd, and 4th to help the people that want to go see and help our downtown merchants, you know, make this a profitable festival for them. And I think you answered my question about the buses. Are the buses, will the buses take people there? Maybe we can do something to help get people downtown, maybe giving half fares or free if they can show that they've purchased something to one of our events that are there. I just think that that would be helpful to the downtown merchants. And usually I don't come to the USO Festival. I just bring my trash cans and trash bags and I leave because of all the people that are there. But I think this year I may come. Thank you. It's opening day for the baseball season.
Opening day for baseball season. Thank you, Rita, and happy Passover, as we're in Passover this time, and Councilor Stubbs, same to you as well. And do we have anything else? Mr. Nebb, if you could.
Sir, Mr. Chair, Finance Committee, just one item. This did not make it onto a standing committee, but as we had discussed at a closed session, we were in the process of the auction for the Job Corps property out by the Air Center. We were the recipients of the win for the auction. It was within the confines of what we had determined as our requirements. Due to the amount, again, the Job Corps property, I believe we were the winning bid at $300,000. I have given that approval to do that. I will need a ratification of the City Council of that action that meets up with the conditions of what the council had asked for. So that will be placed on the agenda, this next upcoming agenda, even though it had not went through any committee. But the intent is that we have to close the deal on April 7th, which is the day before the council meeting. So just so you're aware of that, the need for that ratification.
Absolutely. Councilor Roebuck.
Joe, if you'll field one for me. I assume to our citizen who's shared that the city will move its vehicles the 4th of July from the downtown parking lot is our tradition.
Yeah, well, and I will say that we've had no request from the Main Street downtown in order to do that, but we would definitively do that in order to help. Yeah, we've done that in the past, and so I would assume, but as we're in new territory with where we're at, that request has not come from Main Street.
It doesn't necessarily even need to be a request. I mean, even I know that it's something I would speak to those comments. I know the city is committed to getting people downtown.
Yes, sir.
And so certainly just to free up parking for downtown, because we want people to come and come to whatever the stuff we're going to be having here. We want people to be going out to Cielo Grande. We want people to spend the whole day or 2 days or 3 days here, and so downtown should be one of several places that they visit.
Yes, sir.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Nebb. Thank you so much. All right. I think that is everything, and happy Passover to everyone, and also Resurrection Sunday on Sunday. Everybody have a wonderful Easter weekend with your family as well. We are adjourned at 9:59. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.